So it would have said something after that? Did it say like encoder, like?
Sure, you want to end your stream? Let's go. Not yet. I'm going to leave this and just walk it in there. Hopefully we don't have any issues. I'm going to pull the other one out and then we'll sit down and see what the problem is.
What are you using right now?
One of my other new Chromebooks
Okay.
that I brought over from Franzen.
Because you're just going to pop one up to do it.
Yeah, so that's what I was setting up. I'll be right back and I'll do the same thing.
Okay.
There's a video because for every grade level, you're going to click on a link that's grade level specific. You can definitely go to that and show you how it works. It was impossible for the mission of 3 through 8. Right. I mean, it was enough for K-5. It took hours for us to do this.
But you have a place.
I have the place. The place is called Classrooms in Action. I mean, you just Google that in with your laptop with you. It is an amazing site. I'm really proud of Illinois. We used to just steal from all the other states, but they assigned 2 people. Seriously, we didn't have enough people doing it. Now we've got 2 women. One's real techy and one's real content oriented, and they have been updating the site constantly. I found new things on it this weekend that weren't there before in terms of stuff that you can go to. And this is for all standards, so it's going to be really helpful. Classrooms in Action, and because I didn't print any of that because it would have been overwhelming, but you can pick and choose what you want. They were asking about which text can you use. On that same site, some of the best in the best have put together like a bibliograph activities. It's an amazing site. Our boom for today is what I want you to take away with you, because that's my go-to. If I'm called to go to a district, I go there right away and say, okay, let's see if they have this, which will lend itself to that. So anything else that you want to mention that you noticed? Yes.
Well, like the standards themselves are scaffolded, so like if you have an 8th grader, who's at a 6th grade level or 7th grade level, you might not expect them to give the same information. You might simplify it by saying, oh, we'll compare and contrast.
Yes.
Or define this.
Yeah. This is a great differentiation tool, the handout I gave you from Burke, because as she said, if you got a kid, and we all have them, you're teaching 8th, you've got a kid at the 6th grade level. You look down and see where they could be or should be. And for ELs and kids that are struggling, this helps you to differentiate them and put them where they were. That was a big reveal when we did the K-5. Like a 3rd grade teacher would say, oh my gosh, I was expecting this of my kids, and they don't have that until 3rd grade, because it's changed. And the expectations are pretty specific as to what we should be doing. The other thing, one of your colleagues here, where's that thing you had? She says it's old, but she got this where? At the chalkboard. And it says Common Core State Standards, a quick flip reference, and she likes it because it lays it out a little differently and it's easier to see. So you probably would find that online too. But it helps to have these tools when you're crafting your lessons and when you're meeting with your teams to plan your units. This is really helpful. All of us, the thing about writing, our students in America are not really great at it, and we've let it slip. And no matter what district I go to, there's a big hassle going on about what writing program should we use. Our kids can't write, our scores are in the tank. And the academic vocabulary is the other area that everybody just has a huge vortex where it goes right down, boom. So the academic vocabulary that you should be teaching for your various content areas are in there too. And social studies, you can find those on that link for social studies on that site, Classrooms in Action. So those are the things. Now, the other thing I just put down on all the tables was the one that I came up with, which starts off with what the student does, even though it says what the teacher does at the top. You have a box that says what the student does. So for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, your list looks a lot different than 6th through 8th. If you just look at it, you can see that the expectations by 6th grade. And if you own you won't have a 3, 4, 5 book if you're a 6, 7, and 8 teacher. But we could run some more of the 3, 4, 5 for you to have, because 6, 7, 8, you may want to look back at how it scaffolds all the way from 3rd to 6th grade and how they arrive at where you are. But if you'll notice, in both cases, they're considering what's the topic and my purpose. And what we're learning as we're looking into classrooms and watching our teachers in action and then the outcomes we get from our kiddos, you need to be uber explicit with your students. I mean, we assume so much. They don't know. They have not really been taught. I think we can assume, and I'm not denigrating any district, but across America, we have learned the hard way that we can't just leave it to chance that they're going to learn how to read and write. It's got to be very explicitly taught. So it's kind of falling on all of us now in 3rd through 8th to go there and get that shored up. So everybody's going to consider what's the topic and my purpose. Kids are great at picking a topic, but do they know why they're writing about it and why are they choosing it? And that goes across the content areas. What am I doing here? What am I writing about this for? What format will I use to write my piece? Now, that comes in on 6, 7, and 8 as the 3rd question, because in the 2nd question for 6, 7, 8, what information and details should I include to give my reader enough information on the topic? So as you're walking through this with your students in their lessons, you want to scaffold your instruction so that we're not in a cattywampus fashion putting it together. It needs to be explicit in their heads. They need to repeat that over and over and over so they become writers on their own and they have a procedure to follow. Not just the writing process, but a thinking process. One of the cool things about Common Core, I think, is it has taught us to be more deliberate in our thinking and more critical about how we approach stuff. So that's embedded in this standard as well. So what format? How will I introduce my topic? Now we don't have it on 3, 4, 5, but 6, 7, and 8 says how will I introduce my topic clearly, previewing what is to follow. And where I bolded it, those were some of the parts of the standard that were really important. How will I organize ideas or group the contents and so forth? What formatting will I use? How about headings, graphics, charts, tables? There's a lot that we can do now with all our technological tools to make our writing really pop. And we need to do that. What illustrations, if any, should I include to explain the topic more fully? How will I develop the topic with relevant facts, definitions, concrete details, and so on? Do I use transitions? Now, even though you're content area teachers, you know that things fall apart if they're not using transitions properly because it doesn't make any sense. So you need and that comes about by doing lots of modeling with them, and I'll show you a couple of other books that you can utilize for that. Do I use precise language and specific vocabulary to inform about the topic? The way they learn that is by looking at a ton of models that you're going to provide for them of really good informative writing. And do I have a concluding statement section that follows from and supports the information presented to M&P? So on the front of these are what the student does. Then I distilled the teacher notes on the next page after for both of them. So it's got what the student does for history, social studies, and so on. And the first one was ELA, then social studies, and then the last page is what the teacher does. And if you want all the specifics, you've got it in the handout from Burke. But I thought that maybe having both of these, you can go back and forth and see what works better for you. Some people like it more spacious to look at. Other people want all the nitty-gritty details, and those are in the Burke thing. 2 other sources I'm going to recommend. You guys know this book by Jennifer Saravallo. How many know this book? Do you use it? Yeah. If you like cookbooks that have a recipe on one page and it's a go-to, that's how she set this up. You have to look at the beginning of each chapter because she then takes you through what works for your grade levels. But she gives you the tools you need for informative strategies to teach the writing. I don't know if you have this in your schools. Yes.
I purchased that. In 7th grade, did a separate writing block this year. I used a lot of her strategies with our team this year, and she's very visual.
Yeah.
Like she does a lot of work where the kids have to create note cards or post-its, and they have to visually organize, and they can see what they're writing.
A lot of charts.
It's really great.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff on your whiteboards, your small ones. I mean, every single one you see in here, she's got something visual. Yeah, just write it down. Yeah, Jennifer Saravallo. Yeah, it's 300 strategy. She has one for reading as well. This one is improving, and by the way, she's gonna come to the Chicago area Midwest Principals Association, January 19th of 2019. So this coming January, she's gonna be, I think, at Medina Convention Center, and teams can come. So you need to ask Heidi if you're a Medina teacher, Itasca teacher, see if maybe a team of you guys could come and hear her. She's amazing. She's really very pragmatic, practical. You can tell she's in the classroom and has taught a long time. The other one that still proves to be really good for crafting nonfiction for grades 3, 4, 5, this is intermediate, is Linda Hoyt, and I know this is still around, so I don't know if you guys want to crafting nonfiction, by Linda Hoyt, and she kind of sets it up the same way. And she's got nonfiction lessons as well. She's stopping to reread as you write, planning for text structure explanations, using a research notebook. She does a whole thing in here on research, which our kids need to write as well. So she does that. And that's Linda Hoyt. It's called Crafting Nonfiction. So here's 3, 4, 5. This is really good. Now, our teachers, we block them for each grade level, and some of the people block their own now because they really found it to be helpful. So I like to bring some tools that I know are working that teachers like. So my content. And then also, this is for 3-8. I'll pass this to you. This is Chart Sense for writing. And I don't know if you've ever heard about Rosalind Linder. Do you know who that is? That's her. And she started like blogging, and then, she's very well thought of. She's got a lot of good credentials, but she makes her stuff so it's a lot like Jennifer, and it's like a one-pager. And then, so she's got a whole section on informative explanatory text, and it's definitely over 70 common sense charts that go with the Common Core standards is what they are, and how you can set them up. But again, grouping explanatory writing. So I'm going to pass that around too, and it's 3-8. So those are my 3 goodies that I brought to share with you as to what you can use and purchase maybe to have on hand. Let's talk about, so we're seeing what the student does. What are some things the teacher can do? Let's look at the teacher notes for a minute, if you will. I didn't sit and I give you all 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. Do you guys want the other? We can run these if you want them. Like, do you want 3, 4, 5? If you are 6, 7, 8, do you care? Do you not need them?
Well, they're all open. We're in 3, 4, 5.
So 6, 7, 8. Do you want 3, 4, 5? You guys, the only reason for you to have 6, 7, 8 is if you're 5th grade to see where you're sending. You want 3, 4, 5? With your little couple upstairs. Who else wants a 3, 4, 5? Okay, let's run. And do you just want the 6?
I would like 6.
Yeah, I get that.
There's 3 of us.
Yeah, I think they are. I'm so sorry. I'm ready to run.
Thank you. I wrote down this.
Oh, there was a little thing. Everybody got their raffle ticket and then okay. let's take a look again at what the teacher does. When I use the word explicit, that's one of the things that you want to be a lot. I know that we're being collaborative and we're facilitating, but just like in the primary grades where they're having to be exceedingly explicit in many lessons that they deliver, so do we in 3 through 8. Don't assume. So the first thing in both is that you're going to show your kids a range of examples from students, other students. If you've got great exemplars from other students, hang on to them, get permission from the kids, take the names off of them, and use those and say, this is what we're looking for. So often it's a shot in the dark, and then at the end they're like, oh, I could have done that, but I didn't know I was supposed to do it like that. You know, using rubrics with that, and we have TAC, I think it's on Wednesday. There's a whole bunch of rubrics out there that I'll bring in for you. So, professional writers, or even yourself, they love to see what you've written. I mean, and we're kind of shy about that, but if you have something you've written that you like, share it with a question.
So one thing we were discussing when we were talking about the breakdown with the mentor text like this,
Yes.
how do you, and maybe you can't, but how do you get kids not to just copy what you put on the board?
That's a modeling session, okay? So you take the information and you show them how you're gonna put it in your own words. That is where that lesson, even if you spend a week on it, is gonna be worth its weight in gold. They need to see how, and then also how you cite. That's when you're teaching citation, even into 3, 4, 5, they can put the author's name in parentheses and a page number. But even doing that, they have to, and they need to know that they should overdo that as opposed to not. So they're not just copying. I will look for a model lesson online for that specific, and we can take a look at it, because that's a really good question. Yeah, because we run into that all
I've
the
just
time.
seen that a lot.
Also, yeah, ICE, and I have to go back to my notes on this. I didn't think that this question would come up, but they showed us an app that you can use when you're looking at student work to see actually what they lifted from somewhere.
Well, even like creative writing, like end of this year, we did a creative writing piece and I did model. I wrote my own on the board with the study, but I mean, they literally took story elements directly from my example and put it into theirs.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to stop them from doing
I don't think you can stop them. I think it is a process. We're having that issue, I'm told, at the high school, college levels, where they're so savvy with their tech. I mean, they can cut and paste and put it in, and so this thing is kind of a red flag to alert the professor or the teacher that, hey, this is not their writing, this came from whatever.
I ran stuff.
What did you call it? What did you name it?
There's a couple different apps.
Yeah.
Some of them are free, there's so many. But there's a ton of them.
There are apps that are free that you can check into on this. Turnitin.com. Turnitin.com.
And it'll tell you, it'll give you, it'll cite where it came from, so a lot of times when I do with students, I said, you know, you just need to be in your own words, not these words, and then I cut and pasted the site right there so they could see what.
Excellent. All right, Turnitin.com, that's one of them. There's a lot of them out there. And some of them you can subscribe to through the district, and then it does a lot of other things for you, it tracks for you, and it tracks them. Yeah, I thought high school got some voice in there because they're having issues with this. Our kids are always 10 steps ahead of us, especially with the tech, as you know. You also need, the other thing that we need to do, even if you're teaching the content areas, you don't have to go nuts about it, but talk about the conventions that are in there, because they so often, they're not doing conventions, they're just not doing it. Give students a copy of sample text, if possible, display it on a screen so you can annotate portions while you discuss the writer's decisions and any relevant features. So there are some really, really good tips on what the teacher should do to structure the lesson. I also found, and this, if you Google teaching informational text, this is gonna work. Let's see. Come on. There's something, and there's no talking on this one.
How much is it on there? The big details of the rest of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's on the effort. That's why, but it's not.
Alright, this sounds kind of primary, but it's very short. It's like a minute 27.
Different parts. It should have an introduction to introduce the topic, facts that are divided into subtopics, and a closing to wrap up the writing. I've decided my topic will be computers. Now I'm ready to make a plan. To create subtopics, I need to divide my topic into smaller parts. So if my topic is computers, what smaller topics will I teach the reader? I think I'm going to teach them different kinds of computers and the different parts of a computer and what computers can do. So here's my plan. First, I will write an introduction. Then I will write about my subtopics, and each will have its own section. And last, I will write my closing. Now, I'm ready to write. Check out episode 4 to see how I write my introduction.
Okay, so, there's quite a few of these sort of things over there. We're not gonna look at revised things, but, I just wanted you to see what was available. There's lots. Now, how many of you got to the Classrooms in Action site? Okay, did you click on your own grade levels?
Yes.
Okay, did you also see that you can go in there and find by content? All right, so if you didn't find samples, all right, I'll come back there and see what we can do. What grade level? 5? Let's try to look at 5.
And then scroll down Oh, found it.
Found it?
Yeah.
So this is.
Oh. No, then you go. Oh, writing samples.
All right, so welcome to Illinois Classrooms in Action. This is the website. This is what it looks like. And you can go in and do balanced assessment, climate and culture, or curriculum alignment if you're working on that. But there's English language arts, math, science, social science, virtual networks for teachers, career tech, fine arts, and PE and health. All of them will open up very much like the ELA. We'll open that one first, I think. And so now you see your specific grade levels, and they give you a little overview of what to expect. Those are like little mini videos up on the top, but you can click into your particular grade level. We'll go to 5th because it's kind of in the middle, and show you what's there. So now notice how they break it out, because we're in ELA, they do all components, the language and so on, but we're gonna focus just on writing right now. And if you scroll, we're on this one. This is the only one I focused on right now. So this is all about standard 2. And I have this printed for you. So I'm going to give you that as well. I have that, I copied that for you. Because that's the Illinois standards and that's how they do them in there. This stuff gets real wordy, but I gave it to you anyway. It's the thinking behind it's the research base. Okay, so if I click out of that and go back, now I can look at the ISB strategies. So when you click on the strategies for writing for 3-5, and so there's all kinds of things that start popping up that you can use, sketch to stretch. And then you can go to the YouTube videos here, a teacher using that. Here's a sketch to stretch template. So within the site, there is just a plethora of things to to me, this is a really useful site. It was one I really wanted to share with you guys this morning, because I think it's really helpful. Let's go back and look at social studies. Yeah, let's go back to
Mentor text resources. I like. Where did you see that?
kind of similar to
No, I thought. Good writing.
Just as the standard.
And then, like I put down, oh yeah, they're there.
there's one for each one.
Yeah. Put down that.
All right, you can join, if you're social studies, you can join this for free and they will push out to you. There's a great listserv because there's a woman named Mary Ellen Daniels. Have you ever come here yet? Have you seen her?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's got stuff she contributed to that listserv. And if you join that social science listserv, they'll push things out to you and they keep you aware of activities that are coming up and also tools and stuff. So that's helpful. I would highly recommend that you join the listserv. So that you know that that's next and analysis was my narrative. So this is just mainly the standards. Packet. So I think all of you, social science though, the list of books, let's go to the bibliography. Just go back to the, I want you to see that. So we're gonna go back to right.
We made it mandatory. That's right, right, or dad, and shoot. I mean, I can see. If you go down here.
The other one you might want to look at is the Tech for Teachers and Classrooms in Action. So there's two sites, Classrooms in Action and Literacy in Action. So you want to go to that as well. Literacy in Action is the other one. And again, there's handouts you can have. There's how to find the resources and all of these things. SAMRs here, all of this. There's the content specialist websites are here for back to writing.
So Classroom in Action and Literacy in Action are two different websites?
It seems like they come up differently. So they kind of morphed over to Illinois Literacy in Action, but I still go back to Classrooms in Action because they haven't like taken everything out of Classrooms in Action.
Oh, okay.
So I think you want to do both. See it's saying now Illinois Literacy in Action. I think it's Classrooms in Action that I need to go to for the writing that I just showed you.
Okay.
I know, we have to go to a specific grade level. Let's try middle school one. Let's do a 6. There's writing. So you have to, once you click on your grade level, then you're gonna go to the specific thing you're looking for. Down here, there's literacy research you can go to. Those are articles. When you go to the strategies, oh, here's the mentor text resources. Oh, the links are the same. Some of them are the same. All right, so if you go to the writing fix, which is in there, it's one of the things they give you. You can look at the 4 favorite writing fix resources. So songs, home pages with lesson guides, writing across the curriculum strategies, which we can pick up right now. Yeah. Wait, here's the picture book. Let's look at young adult books as mentor texts. So in the writing fix, they begin to give you the books you can use to show. So you have to play with the website. Seriously, I have probably spent about 12 hours going around the whole thing. And like I said, there were so many things. If I were doing a course in class, I would use the source and use it for that. Do it live to see what. All right, so questions about how you're going to navigate this. Do you understand now that you have a resource? You can say, what does it say? And what are kids doing? And then what can I do? Because I think we needed something that we can just frame our brain around. And now I would focus on going on these websites over the summer. If you're organizing, you're working with your teams, I think it's a good start for you. I will give you my email. If there's something you're looking for, believe me, I've worked with a lot of districts and I might have an idea if you're trying to start a project or something. So if you want to write it down, here it is. It's Kate, Kate, .Bruni, BRUNI @gmail.com. Do you guys know Kelly Gallagher's work? If you ever see him come to town, go see him. His stuff is great, and if you're 6, 7, and 8, he's really geared more towards 6 through 12. But I think this, you looked at it. Did you look at this book? Okay, 6, 7, 8 back here. We have these two. We have those two. Okay, yeah, we have to sign out now. Okay. Might have to start signing out for 10, just 10. Yes.
Close enough that it makes sense.
That I love. But Raz's book is good too, and it's set up the same way.
That's really, really awesome.
While we're passing around the things we have to do, remember you have to go to the link that's on the district website for this, the Learning Camp 2018. Questions. What can I answer for you? What response do you have? Is this what you had in mind? Now, on Wednesday, I think we're going to revisit this, and it's going to be, we'll have 2 separate areas going on. That'll be the day for rubrics, more sample text to look at, and I think that's like from 9:20 to 11:25 or something. So if there's something else you want me to bring, that you want me to focus on, let me know that, because this is kind of like a shot in the dark, trying to figure out what people needed. Is this helpful information?
Yes.
Okay, good. I mean, we have to have a starting place, and if we're all in it together and we're using similar materials, that's the other thing. Regardless of what you do, we want to be consistent. That's why the academic vocab is so important, because the kids are hearing the same terminology across the grades. For our English language learners, it's killing them that everybody uses different terms. So we need to be consistent in how we describe what we want them to do and kind of the approach, if you will. So that'll help all of us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, how do you fill this out?
You're
The about.
Go to the link.
Go to the link. Yeah, go to today's date.
These are books here.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us.